Alright you guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to fix a Vapamore MR-100 if you're having these symptoms. You turn it on, it warms up, you go to press the trigger, and there is no steam output at all. And as far as I know, this is going to be the only video on the internet that shows you how to actually fix it. If you go and do some research right now, you're going to find the typical suggestions like make sure the power cord's plugged in, make sure the tank's full, make sure the steam pressure knob is adjusted, make sure the hose is plugged in and clicked in place. And that's all fine, but that's more like for people that first got the unit, or if they've used it before and like say it's their second time and they forgot something, then that may be helpful to them. But if you've had this for a while and all those things are in check and it's still not working, then I'm going to show you why that is. I'm not going to ask you guys for any money or anything like that. If you get some value out of this video, I'd appreciate it if you smash that like button. All right, so let's get into this. Now, first things first, we need to talk about safety because there is a chance, being a steam cleaner, that you could get burned working on this thing. So, unplug the power cord, let the unit cool off for a few hours. Slowly turn the cap. If you hear any hissing, just let off, come back in a little while, let that pressure bleed out, let the unit cool down more. Just take your time. You don't want to get burned trying to fix this thing. Okay, so you got the cap off. You need to dump out all the water. Leave the cap off. Now, this unit is already repaired, but I took some pictures during the repair and it's not back together yet. It's not screwed back together, so I can show you guys what I did. Okay, so underneath the machine there's a few screws. Take those out, and there is a little trick to getting this machine apart. And you may have noticed the steam pressure control knob is off right now, and that's because it needs to be to get this machine apart. So right here, here's the knob, and there's a little cap. You have to pry that off the knob. Just take a little flat screwdriver and pry that off. Okay. And then there'll be a screw under that cap. Take that out, pull the knob off, and now you can get the machine apart. Okay. Now bear with me as I try and do this one-handed. Okay. Now, when I first took this machine apart, I had actually already tried putting some white vinegar and distilled water in the tank to try and clean out any scale buildup, but that did not work. So what I did was I had the unit apart like you see right now. I filled it back up with water. I tightened the cap back down, and then I carefully ran the machine in this state. Now, you don't need to do this. I'm just kind of telling you how I came across the solution to this. Okay, so I had it warmed up, and I have one of those infrared thermometers, or if you have one of those like thermal temperature guns, that would be great. But like I said, you don't really need any of that. What I did was I took some readings down here, just trying to see how far the heat was coming through here. And I noticed it was good and hot here, here, but then this hose was cold. I mean, obviously I could just touch it to determine that, but didn't want to risk getting burned on anything, so that's why I used the infrared thermometer. And it seemed like it was all good right up until right about here. So I was like, okay, that's neat. So I let the unit cool down again, and I actually removed this piece right here. Now, I don't know the actual name for this part. I think it's like a solenoid valve or something like that. I didn't bother looking. But anyway, what you need to do is disconnect this hose, take this hose clamp off, pull this hose off here. There's 2 electrical connectors under this solenoid. You need to take those off. And then once you have this hose off and the 2 wires out, there's some flats right here. Right here. You can take a wrench right there and remove this whole solenoid. This whole piece right here will come off the machine. Okay. Now, there's a nut right here. You're going to want to take that out as well. And then this is going to be where I took some pictures during the repair for reference. I'm going to include that now. Okay, and that ended up being the fix. This piece right here actually had some scale buildup, and this valve was sticking. Because what happens is, when you go to press your trigger right here, that goes through to here, to these wires, where you hook up that hose, and that's what opens this valve. But the valve was stuck. So that's why there was no steam output. And that's all I had to do to fix it. And it's really amazing because, like I said, if you go and try and find information on how to fix this thing, from what I gather, they were telling people that the tank is bad, that they need to replace the tank. Well, I didn't need to replace the tank. The tank is stainless. And you should be putting in clean water, which I did. But the thing is, you guys, even if you put clean water in this machine, they'll tell you to do that, and then they'll tell you if you're not using it for a while to empty the tank. Well, it seems like there's some baffles in this tank where you go to empty it, and then you set the unit back down. If you actually look down in there, there's still water in the very bottom. So that water coming down to here to this valve is still going to be there. So I personally don't think it really matters. This is just something that's going to happen if you let the unit sit for a while, regardless of the quality of the water that's in there. So if you use the machine a lot, all the heating is basically what's keeping this valve clean from getting stuck. And then when it sits, like I said, regardless of the quality of water, it's just the way things go. These parts are really small in there, and that valve will get stuck. So that's all I had to do, guys. All right, and this video would not be complete without me showing you guys that the unit actually does work. So here we go. Awesome. And here's the ultrasonic cleaner that I used to clean that valve. It doesn't have to be this one. This is just one that I had laying around. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps someone out there to fix your Vapamore MR-100 if it's warming up and you're not getting any steam output. Have a wonderful day.